Hey guys, it's Meg. I am here this week with a new video for you. This is going to be our standard tarot reading, so if you guys are interested in getting a message from the cards, please come on in and have a seat. We'll get to the reading in a moment. Before we do anything, I do want to say that if you like what you see in the video, please go ahead and click the like, subscribe, and the bell buttons. That way you can stay in the loop for when I post new work. I have also included a list of my links to my social media if you want to get in touch with me outside of YouTube. And on top of that, I've included a list of the decks I'm using as well as the timestamp because there is a bonus reading for this video. So yeah, so come on in. I'm excited to get a message to you. As per usual, we are going to start with our oracle reading, and then we'll get into our tarot as a means of, supplementing the energy, or figuring out why we're seeing the energy, how to use it, why are we seeing what we're seeing in our oracle. Okay. So I hope that you all have been doing okay. It's been a weird week. It's not been bad. It's not been good. It's just been sort of down the middle in terms of how it's been going. But I have not actually had internet connection, which means that I've had to put some work that I had meant to do this week on hold. And it's been mildly frustrating, but I'm glad to have it back now. So if you are seeing this video as of filming it, I am currently reconnected on my internet. So things are getting back to normal with that. And other than that, life's been busy, but it's been pretty good. And so I hope that things are going well with you. All right. So let's get things started with our reading. Okay, so to start here, we have Mora. This represents hesitation, pondering, delays, and confidence, or potential issues with confidence. Okay. We have Metamorphosis. Okay. Okay. We have empathy. I'm open to seeing both sides of a situation. Okay. And we have expecting miracles. Miracles are blossoming in my life. Okay. So there's a period of change happening here. There's certainly a period of change, and I do feel this is more personal, but it could be relational, and it could be to do with a situation. If it is relational, it's possibly romantic, but I do think this could be platonic as well. But there's something changing here, and it's definitely bringing up some things around your sense of confidence and how you're planning on doing things coming forward. Okay, there are old energies here that could stand to be released. Okay, because I don't feel, if we have this miracle card here coming through, I'm not getting necessarily. I'm not getting the vibe that it is. I'm not getting the vibe that there's space for these miracles to come in. Okay. In terms of this empathy card, if this is relational, of course, trying to see things from the other side, from the perspective of the other side, can be it can be challenging if it doesn't totally align with your perspective. And if that's the case, that might not be such a bad thing, because again, things are changing and hopefully you're growing through these changes. Okay. But if this isn't necessary, if this isn't relational, and if this is something more internal that you're going through, I do think that showing yourself some empathy, but also taking the time to be self-caring and self-loving at this time will help you make the changes you're being called to make right now. Okay. So let's see what it is that our tarot can add to this portion of our reading. Okay. What are we seeing here? What are we seeing? Why are we seeing it? Maybe the better question. And how can we help ourselves through this time of challenge? What's going on? Okay. Okay. So we're going to start here. That's interesting. We have the Five of Wands. Okay. And the Five of Wands, we have the Moon. Okay. And we have the Five of Cups. This is very interesting here because there's certainly been some disappointments and hurt. Okay. Disappointments and hurt that we've chosen to kind of hone in on, because, I feel like at least for some of you that found this reading, first of all, yes, this was meant for you when you meant to find it. So I do hope it resonates with you in the time that you're watching this in. For those people, though, you might be the kind of person that really does analyze and try and figure out the mistakes and how to better those things as you move forward, right? But the risk here is that you stay with those things and you dwell on those things, okay? And that has caused some internal conflict. Like I said, it's caused some conflict. It's making you feel things that you weren't sure of before. It's like, oh, I did this thing and I messed it up. Well, what can I learn from it? Basically, I'm getting this overthinking is putting you at odds with yourself when it feels like you don't need to be. Okay? Yeah, you don't need to be. But because this is here, okay, this internal conflict, this being at odds with yourself is here, it's making things seem very dark and unclear. And I do think a lot of the actions you're taking are based in your ego states. And what I mean by that is it's your ego is yelling at you very loudly, and it's drowning out your intuitive nature here, okay? Because the moon, it does have that aspect of using intuition to guide your way through, right? In this case, I think it's your ego's shouting at you quite loudly, and it's trying to drown out your intuitive voice, okay? Which I think you can tell isn't necessarily helping here. Okay. You know what I'm going to do? No, I'm not going to do that. Our hidden energy, and funnily enough, we have the High Priestess, which in this case to me suggests that you slow down just a little bit and make sure that you can tap into your intuitive nature here. You have two cards that it specific, I would say in the Rider-Waite deck, there's a moon motif with this one specifically, but also with the High Priestess, it shows up there because this is this High Priestess card can be very much about intuitive reflection. So I like that this High Priestess card shows up for you, and like I said, it might be better to slow down and have a pause, and so that you can get back to your intuitive voice. So you can silence the ego a little bit more and let your intuitive voice come through here. Okay. And you also have the Two of Wands here. So things will start opening up, things will start lightening up when you start recovering some of that intuitive nature. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, things. Yeah, I think I've said what I'm going to say on the matter. Let's see. Yeah, let's see what else we have here. The last two cards were meant to be your hidden and clarifying energy. So here's our hidden energy with this High Priestess, and our Two of Wands is our clarifying energy. Okay. So basically, with the first portion of this is that you're trying to open doors for yourself again, and the way you're going to do it is, instead of overthinking, trying to come back to your intuitive nature will help you understand how to open the door a little bit more for yourself. Okay. So let's see what we need to see about why are we seeing this first portion of the reading. Okay, let's see here. So the first thing we're seeing for the Five of Cups here, okay, we'll clarify each card here. So the Five of Cups is being clarified by the World. Okay, so this is your old energy. This is the old, nasty, outdated energy here. It's time to release that hurt, that disappointment, and recognize that you do have a cycle of transformation happening, of metamorphosis. And in order for that to really happen, to really sink in, there will need to be a release of this Five of Cups energy. This old, gross, weird energy needs to be released so that you can bring this new energy in for you. Okay. It's interesting. We also have the Seven of Cups. So here's some new offers. Here's some new things that are likely to come in with this release of the energy here. Now remember what I said about it's likely that you're the type of person to overthink and ruminate and dwell on past mistakes and things like that. Well, here's another risky situation if that's for you. Because now you know what's on your plate. Now you know what's on the table, and it's up to you to decide. But you're being encouraged with this card to pick carefully, okay? Because not everything in front of you is going to be good for you. And if your intuitive voice has been silenced to the point where you can't hear it, it might, you're going to pick what you'll pick, right? You're going to do what you'll do. In the moment, that's going to be what's right, okay? In the long term, that might have consequences that you don't foresee coming, okay? And this is why I advised a little bit ago to take a pause, take a rest, and let your intuitive voice come back. Because a lot of things are opening up for you. Okay. So let's see our moon card. Why are we seeing our moon card? All right. Okay. We have the moon card. The Six of Wands here is coming through. Immediately I'm hearing that progress has been made, whether you believe it or not. Okay. Progress has been made whether you believe it or not. I do think the water in front of you in this transition is a little murky. But I do think you've pushed yourself little bits at a time. And that's when you have had these moments of intuitive clarity coming through. Like it's happened in little bits. Okay. The point of it though is that, yes, you might not have seen it, but you have made progress, and you've gotten yourself to this world and this Seven of Cups energy. Okay. It's okay to celebrate it, right? It's okay to say, you know what, I'm not where I was and I'm not where I want to be, but I am in a place where I can look back and see the progress and acknowledge that I've done it. And interestingly enough, I want you to check out the halo on this character here. You might not have all the answers you're looking for, okay? But you're in a place where you're in a place to pause, celebrate your progress, and make sure that you understand where it is you need to go. Okay. So there's the Six of Wands. Okay, we have the High Priestess here coming out. Here's the repeat. Okay. Here's our repeat card. So keep in mind your intuitive voice here. You'll know what this progress feels like. You'll know that even though things are not clear, your voice is still there. Okay. Your intuitive voice is still there, and it's not going to shout. Intuition doesn't shout. Okay. And it comes, intuition doesn't count. It doesn't count. It does count, but it doesn't shout like the ego does. Okay. And you need to tap in to make sure that you are still staying clear about your path forward, even though it doesn't feel or look to be that way initially. Okay. Well, I hope that makes sense. Let's look at our Five of Wands here. Okay, Five of Wands. Let's see here. Okay, we have, you know what, I'm going to read this first. I looked at this first. We have the King of Wands here, which is starting to explain why we're seeing our Five of Wands. We're seeing the King of Wands here because in spite of the conflict that you are experiencing right now, you're being asked to be an authority over the intensity of what you're feeling right now. Okay. There's a lot of fire. You're passionate and determined, and this passionate determination is helping you succeed. Okay. But I think at this point you've put too much fuel on the fire. Again, I'm saying that because I'm tapping into that overthinking, ruminating energy here. So you may have put too much fuel on the fire, and it's yeah, it's the sort of thing that you are unsure. You've been unsure now that you're being called out of that rumination status. You're being called to take authority over the intensity of what you're feeling here. And you're also being called to release and let go, because I think part of the problem is that you've worked so hard to build what you've built, and doing this releasing, cutting this cord is scary, and it's, I don't know if you can see that look on this character's face, but he's like, I don't want to lose what I don't have, right? And that's the thing. You've put yourself in that mindset, not on purpose, um, but the fear is keeping you held back, and you don't have room for that. You don't have room to be bound in by that anymore. You don't, yeah, I'm going to leave it there. So, yeah, there is a releasing aspect of this. Releasing aspect, and it's time to gain understanding of that, of the intensity of what you're feeling here, too. Okay? So, here is the High Priestess. Okay? There's a repeat card, so let's pay attention to that. Why are we seeing our High Priestess here? Okay, we have the Ace of Cups. So all of this is leading to new growth in terms of your emotional and spiritual aspects. Okay, you have a new opportunity. I think there's a sense of coming back to your sense of balance with this, and knowing that you have knowing that you have the opportunity it would be motivating. It would be motivating if it felt less scary, right? And I'm getting to that idea because, again, past cards, you have this internal conflict, and that things are changing, right? But I also want you to notice that you have this butterfly, this metamorphosis symbol, at least to my understanding of metamorphosis here. So again, a lot of new growth, a lot of change. Okay, Ace of Cups, and we also have the Page of Pentacles. So there is a new field for you to water. Now it's your turn to take the lessons you've learned through this journey so far and apply them to this growth. Okay. There is, be patient with yourself. Okay. And like I said from your oracle, show yourself some empathy and self-love and self-care, because this feels bigger than it probably is. And I'm not asking you to deny your feelings. Certainly, please don't do that. But there are very real blessings incoming. I have a sense that there are very real blessings coming in here. But it's up to you to do the work to make them manifest. Okay. Okay. So we also have, we're going to clarify our Two of Wands here, this open door energy. Okay. We have the Knight of Swords to start with. So there's some action needing to be taken here in order to shift perspectives on how you're seeing things right now. There's certainly some actions that you need to take here. don't rush. I'm hearing here, please do not rush, because what you are at risk of doing, and I want you to pay attention to where this character's foot or paw is going here, because you don't rush. I think there could be some half-baked energy, half-baked thoughts that you're having about how you're going to move forward. And if you rush the process you're in right now, yeah, you're going to get a result, but it's not going to be the result you want or the result that is absolutely servicing your higher good. Okay. Don't rush it, because eventually your time will come. And if you've done the work to silence the internal conflict, if you've done the work to rediscover your intuitive voice, the doors are going to open, and you'll hear how you're being called to remove the darkness from your space. Okay, so there is judgment. Okay, and we've had the Knight of Swords. Okay, so let's see what else. Let's see what else we need to see here. Let's see what else we need to see. Okay. What else do we need to see? How can we use this information to our best and highest good? Okay. How do we use this information, please? Okay. So, to start, we have the Two of Pentacles. Okay. We have the Ace of Wands. Interesting. Okay. And we have the Empress. Okay. So immediately, one of the things that we can use this energy for, especially with the idea of this release energy that we need to do, this release, this planting new gardens, is that we're working to create our abundance. And we're working to create abundance and this life of hopefully no worries. I'm gonna say it like that. We've taken care of so much in our lives. There's a lot right now. There's a lot going down right now, and we've had to nurture so much to completion. And now that those things are complete, again, this is why we're seeing things like the World, like the Empress. It almost feels like some of you may be having an identity crisis, because there are things that are reaching a terminus, and you've put so much of your effort into whatever this energy is, that now that it's ending, it's like, I don't know what to do. I'm conflicted. There's something in it that you've lost touch with. And I mentioned specifically your intuitive voice, okay, because that conflict and that ego is shouting at you. And because of that, I think that things have become turbulent, and you kind of lost your footing a little bit. While that release is that letting go is allowing the ground to not feel as scary or as wobbly, right? And that's something that you've had to learn, okay? You've had to learn how to pick it up, and strangely enough, you've come to a place where I think this is part of the blessing that you're looking to bring in for yourself. okay? Again, we're working on creating our abundance here, okay? Also, I'm hearing for some of you, you might be working on getting back on your feet after after a tough situation or after something, yeah, a tough situation. Let's leave it there. Okay. So let's see what our hidden and clarifying energy is, please. Hidden and clarifying, please. Okay. Was Page of Pentacles, but we're getting Page of Wands. So there will always be new lessons to learn here, especially what we're looking to create in our space. Certainly there's, I think, I'm hearing for some of you, this is rediscovering something that made you feel inspired, okay? And there's the lesson to be learned from that is that you are, yeah, you're learning how to channel what you already know about things that inspired you in the past, and you're learning to put them into things that are going to inspire you down the line or make you feel excited and passionate for those things as time moves forward, okay? But again, you know, we're getting our Seven of Cups. Here's a repeat card here. So there will always be choices, okay? You will always be faced with a choice. Do I go left or right? Do I stay with this thing or do I try something new? Do I put in whatever descriptive situation you want for this card? There will always be choices, okay? You'll know what's right for you, okay? It's just a matter of knowing that you've grown, knowing that you've changed, knowing that what you valued in the past might not align with you down the line, okay? And whatever choices you end up making will be right for you, okay? They will be right, but again, you are being called to choose carefully as well, okay? Oh, interesting, okay. All right, let's see what else we need to see here. What else do we need to see? Okay, what else do we need to see? What else? Okay. All right. So again, remember what I said about choices. We're starting with the Lovers here, which is, yes, it can be about romance, sex, you know, whatever interpersonal relationship or interpersonal communications you may have with other people, okay? But again, there are choices to be made, and I think at this point you're in a situation where there are pros and cons, and you're realizing that, you're seeing it, you're internalizing it, and you're letting those things inform your path. You know, there's some nuance to that. I do think, like what I said at the beginning here, you're the kind of person that lets it really dig into the brain here, and it really feels sometimes like you overthink and ruminate. All right, but that's just because I think you do realize your choices and you take it very much to heart that this is what I have. This is what I have to do. This is at my disposal, and it really, you know, you put a lot of pressure on yourself to pick correctly. Maybe there is no correct answer. okay? And maybe you're in your head unnecessarily, okay? But you know what that looks like for you, so let's move on. That is the Lovers, okay? He also has Strength. That's really, really cool here because um, you have the ability to understand and know. Yes, you have the ability to understand. You have the ability to dig deep within yourself and figure out what the impulse you're feeling is, so that way you can understand, and you can understand it further by reflecting and saying, well, yes, I have all of these choices. I don't have to just make something on the snap because I'm being told to. I can sit with it and reflect it, and that's where your strength is. Okay, all right. Um, and you also have the Three of Pentacles here. There is a community and a support system around you who really cares and really loves you and wants you to be happy with whatever you choose. Okay, it's not, it might not be blood. It might not be, it might not be your blood. It might not be people you're related to. This could be friends, people outside of your relation, outside of your family unit, is what I meant to say. But there is a community around you that wants to help you, that wants you to succeed. Okay, don't be afraid. If you need help shifting the perspective, doesn't mean you have to be totally given over to their side of things. But maybe having their side of things might might give you might give you some perspective on what it is you're going through now. Okay. But again, here's where the carefulness comes into, because you have the Nine of Wands and you have the Seven of Wands. So be careful who you trust in this situation, because yes, while you have this community of people around you, there could be people who you thought might have had your back, but don't actually have your back, and they don't want you doing what you're doing. They don't want you succeeding. Okay. And I think that's part of the issue. Okay. Because there's been behaviors that you've seen from people that are just like, this is gross. I didn't ask to have to go through this. Okay. And unfortunately, it could be that if that conflict is from someone you trusted, it might be time that might be what you're having to release. Okay. And then again, you know your situation. Okay. And please take this information as it resonates. I hope that it has been helpful for you in some way. But let's get into our bonus reading at this time, and we shall see what else we need to see. Maybe this is supplemental, maybe this is a new reading altogether, but let's see how it goes. Okay. Excuse me. Bonus reading to start with our oracles. We have Jenna. This is representing calm, stillness, purity, and quiet. Okay. All right. We have making a choice. Interesting. Okay. We have the blame. I accept responsibility for my well-being. Okay. All right. And we have embarking on an adventure. I savor the wonders of the world. Okay. stay or go, right? Stay or go is what I'm hearing here. And I'm getting to this because you're holding on to a lot of blame, and I think this is part of that issue is that because that's what you're doing, you're kind of distorting you're distorting the fact that what happened, okay, and you may have had a hand in creating some of the situation you're now dealing with, okay. um, it says, this card does say you're working to accept responsibility, okay. I do think there's a marked difference between continually hurting yourself over something that happened to you, and you're using that as an excuse to, you're saying, oh, I'm this, and this, I blame myself for this, and I'm blaming myself because I didn't realize this before and I need to do something else to remedy it. Well, there's a difference between emotionally abusing yourself and saying, yes, I accept some of this on my shoulders. I will be responsible for fixing this aspect, or, doing something to remedy this situation. You have the choice to stay with that blame or, go for another door. Remember that there is a fork in this road. No, it doesn't go down the middle. You have to make a choice in left or right here. Do you stay with this or do you leave it behind? Okay. I'm getting that you're being encouraged to leave this blame aspect behind. Okay. Because you have so much more to explore. Maybe about the situation you've found yourself in, or there's whole new avenues to go down, right? Again, this block is not going down the middle, and you have two open doors. Okay. Yeah. Block doesn't go down the middle. You're being encouraged to embark on an adventure. All well and good. But I think some of you might be asking, well, how do I pick? What do I pick? I don't know. What's the muscle in my dome piece telling me? Well, you gotta get still and you gotta get quiet with yourself, because how else are you going to tap into your heart? Okay, what's your heart telling you? Okay, and yeah, what's your mind telling you? And are they syncing up on the same thing? Who knows, right? You're in your own head, and again, I leave you to decide what that is going to look like. Okay. For the bonus tarot, how are we using this here? Okay, we have the Emperor. Good start. Let's see what else. We have the Emperor. We have Four of Wands. Oh, come on, good cards here. We have the King of Wands. Nice. And we have the Moon. Okay, Moon. All well and good. What I love about this here is that we have some really cool authoritative energy coming through. And remember what I said about tapping into the head and heart here? What's it saying about making this forward progress and getting still and reflecting on what we have to do in order to make our choices? Okay, I love this so much. Okay, because this is talking to your abilities right now. It's tapping into your strengths, because you have a way of putting together the information you're saying, even if it is in a situation where something not so great has happened around you. Okay. you have the ability to see beyond the situation and say, you know what, I did mess up, but here's my lesson. Here's what I'm going to do differently. Here's how this all makes sense for me, and here's what I'm going to do now. Okay? And you're in the authority over the intensity of the emotion this situation has brought up. Okay? Whereas before, I think, before you retained this authority, you might have been a little more impulsive or a little more reactive. And now you're saying, actually, no, I don't need to do that. I need to pause and reflect, like our Oracle has said here. And I don't have to let whatever I'm lacking clarity in be the guiding factor here, because even though things aren't clear, I still have what's on my heart, and I still know what I think. Okay, and that's putting you on a far more stable foundation than you might have had when things like this have come up for you in the past. Okay. Okay, so there is that. I hope this reading has helped somebody. If you guys like what you saw in the video, please go ahead and click the like, subscribe, and the bell buttons. Get in touch if you need anything, and I will see you very soon with a new post. But in the meantime, stay safe, and I love you lots. Bye, everybody.